Hello and welcome to this Jaguar XK8 instrument veneer removal video. This is video 121 in our series of XK8 videos. In this video we're going to show you how we removed and swapped over the main instrument veneer on our Jaguar XK8. If you're familiar with our channel, you'll understand we've been changing all the dash panels, the veneers, over from a carbon fibre vinyl wrap back to the original burr walnut. And in doing so, we've been doing a video for every panel. And in this video, we're going to do the main instrument cluster veneer. The tools we used in this video are very simple in this case. It's basically a star screwdriver or a cross screwdriver and a T30 Torx bit. The video in this case is split up into 5 sections. Section 1, the lower bolster removal, which you need to do to access the lower veneer fixing screws. Secondly, the veneer removal itself. Thirdly, the swapping of the veneers over is not quite as simple as a direct swap because some of the parts had been exchanged, and I'll go through how we did that. Section 4, fitting the veneer back again, and a couple of tips how to make that easier. And section 5, refitting the lower bolster. If you're watching this, you're obviously interested in Jaguars, Jaguar XK8s, XKRs, X100s. If so, please take a look at our channel, O&DR Modurol. It's all about Jaguar XK8, and it's probably going to be of interest. Anyway, back to the video. Section 1 then, lower bolster removal. The best thing about the lower bolster, or the easiest thing, is there's actually slots on the bottom of it, the bottom fixings, so you don't have holes, so you can actually leave the bolts in situ. So that is really our top tip, or one of our top tips in this video. You can loosen the bottom inner screws, which actually are the bolster screws. The outer ones are part of the IP instrument panel. And you loosen them with your T30 Torx. Those are actually torque bolts are XKR 1063 5Bs. Do that for the right hand side inner, and then do the same for the left hand side inner screw. And then literally you can just grab the top edge, ideally with the sun visor pocket, and the whole lower bolster will fall down. Well, actually, that was when I didn't leave the bolts in situ. If I'd left the bolts in situ, it would have just rested on the slots, and you could just manhandle it after that. After you've got the loosened the bolts and you've got the front clips out, there's 2 connectors going to be needing to be undone. First is the valley button connector. Secondly is removing the motorized aspirator connector, or the interior temperature sensor connector. After that, the lower bolster should just lift off those slots and come directly out of the car like this. Section 2 then, veneer removal itself. What you need to understand here, there's actually 4 fixings for the veneer. There's 2 tabs at the top and 2 screws at the lower corners marked with the arrows here. It's probably easy to see it on the bench. So you can see there's 2 actually plastic tabs poking up almost vertically. They do lean back slightly, and there's 2 screw holes in each corner at the bottom. So what you need to do is on the main instrument cluster left hand side bottom screw, you need to undo that one with your screwdriver and do the same for the right hand side screw. And literally the removal technique of the method here is to lift the bottom outwards towards you and then pull down the top. I'll show you in video form here. So basically you need to pull out the bottom and try and pull the top with lots of wiggling. So try the right hand side now, pull it out and then wiggle, trying to pull it down. There you go, the tabs are starting to disengage. Do the same on the left hand side now. There you go, it's come out. We've got it out, and what you've got to do is just squeeze it past the steering column and the dashboard top there. There you go, it's loose, but it's not, because there's still a wiring harness connector there for the trip computer. So literally you need to disconnect your trip computer. If you're interested, those trip computer buttons, their part number is LJE6019AA. And then your veneer's got to be off and you can take it to the bench for the next stage. While we're here, you need to remember to remove the side vent. You literally just need to pull that off, being careful really that you don't break any of the plastics, but it should just pull off. I'm doing it single-handedly because I've got the camera, but it's very easy to do with two hands. There you go, that's all the veneers off. With the veneers off, you get great access to the instrument panel cluster, and I have actually taken that out. You can see all the bolts are missing, and I've checked the rear bulb holders. There's four, I think it's T5 bulbs, sorry, 4 T10 bulbs, and there's 4 T5 bulbs. And I'm going to experiment with LED bulbs, and I'll cover checking these bulbs and the LED outcome in another video, so watch out for that one. Anyway, we're about halfway, everything's off. So again, reminder, if you're enjoying it, please press the thumbs up. It does really make a difference. Okay, section 3, the veneer swap. So the old carbon fiber veneer is removed, but actually when I look back, when I bought the original spare veneer, it didn't have the instrument binnacle piece, the black plastic piece, and I had to transplant it from one to the other. So I'm going to show you how to do that. One thing I've noticed is that this was in an early car, and it's a lot more difficult to do it on later cars because the actual tabs that connect to the two together, there's 7 of these, are actually bent down and glued in position on later cars. And it's a lot more difficult to get that off because that glue set's really hard. It's almost like resin. But in the early cars case, they're actually just these basically trim clips. You just take them off with a screwdriver, ideally not poking yourself in the arm with your screwdriver. So there's 7 of those. You simply take them all off. It's a little bit tricky. It's all aluminium, those tabs, so they do deform and bend. So remove all those. This is the clip in detail. It's a JZE 1045 clip, and then you just basically lift the black plastic binnacle piece off the veneer. It may be attached slightly due to the trip computer being glued in position. A bit of that glue transfers. So there you go, the binnacle's off. And just simply to remove the trip computer buttons itself, you just push the 2 tabs in and it pops out the front. Very, very easy to remove. There you go, the trip computer, made in England. Well, there's a novelty. Then basically assembling on the old walnut veneer. It's very simple, just push it over the tabs and push the clips back on. You've got to make sure those tabs are vertical because when you push down they tend to bend out of the way. You may need a little bit of assistance with a hammer. I was just tapping them down gently down with a hammer. I wasn't doing anything destructive. It just helps those clips to engage. Take a bit of time doing that. Then finally just need to reinsert the trip computer and then we're going to be good to go. Pulling it all back. There you go. As you see here, I had some aluminium dial rings on. You can see the glue still left on there. So actually, these are the ones I actually transferred them to the carbon fibre wrap part. So I was just prying those off the old veneer. I'm not too worried about this veneer because it's going to be scrapped. So I pulled them off with the idea of using those or some other ones on the walnut ones. I actually did eventually find some OEM rings off one of the other sets I had, which I took out and I fitted on these, the walnut ones, even the ones, the 3 dials in the center. And again, I've done another video on that, which I'll be showing shortly about dial rings and how to fit them. Section 4 then, the veneer fitting. Now again, you need to refit the side vent veneer. It's very, very simple. Just push it on. You can do it single-handedly in this case. It just locates with friction on three little bushes, plastic bushes, and there you go, it's in place. It's literally as simple as that. Now you need to present the veneer to the instrument cluster and reconnect your trip computer buttons. It's a little bit tricky. There you go, connected. Trip computer connected. Now, the veneer itself can be very tricky to install because it doesn't want to go in, and I'll show you why in a moment. So this is me struggling to get the tabs in, but it's poking out at the front. It doesn't want to go back. And what was happening, the trip computer fixing, or the pegs that stick out at the back, were actually fouling the rev counter housing. It's very tight, the clearance between that the trip computer housing and the rev counter or the tachometer. So another top tip was actually not to fully insert the trip computer or even leave it out. Well, you need to have it in because it needs to be connected. Not have it fully connected so that tab doesn't foul with the tachometer. Then, if you locate the top tabs, it does go further down at the front. Give it a wiggle, there you go, push those up and then push the bottom down, and finally just put your trip computer buttons in place. There you go. All we're left to do now is check the alignment, and there you go, we're a little bit out there at the bottom. I think maybe need to push it up a bit more. So as I say, left hand side and right hand side, you need to check the alignment. You're looking for something like that with a screw somewhere within that slot. On the right hand side is actually a hole, so you can see that's directly in the middle of the hole. So the alignment of the veneer is somewhere near. Literally refit the screws, easy enough. And the instrument cluster veneer is in place. It's looking very good. So let's have a quick, I couldn't help but have a quick video of the whole thing. So we got the right hand side vent, instrument cluster veneer. I've got the 3 dial veneer. It's not completely at home at the minute. I didn't push it all the way back because I'm waiting for my LEDs to come to try out. So there you go, walnut veneer, almost fitted, but it gives you some idea what it's going to look like with those new OEM dial surrounds. They're pretty shiny. So section 5 then, finally, last but not least, refitting the lower bolster. Again, the top tip, you can see I've circled the 2 screws you need to leave loose but in place, and you literally get the lower bolster slots and push them over those bolts, and it should slide on. Refit the connector for the interior temperature and the valet button, and literally push the upper the upper tabs into those slots, and literally as easy as that. Not forgetting to tighten the lower screws up with the T30 Torx. And again, we're all reassembled, including the lower bolster, and it's looking pretty good. There you go. 5 sections how to do it: lower bolster removal, veneer swap over, the black plastic binnacle, veneer refitting with some tips, and lower bolster fitting with tips. So next job is the steering wheel. I'll do a steering wheel video. I've actually already done it. I just need to make the video, so keep an eye out for that. And then I'm going to be looking at removing the center console, changing that veneer for the gear surround, USB charger in the ashtray, sort of a cigarette lighter, and also possibly a hands-free kit. I'm going to put in. I've got an old Parrot kit. I think I might put in there because I've got it lying on the shelf. It might be quite handy. So there you go. Let's have a quick look here. As I say, looking pretty good at the moment. Very happy. Like I say, I'm going to go at the console. It looks pretty good now, but I will do some more work on it. So keep an eye on that video to come. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd like to see more XK8 videos.